couldn't have made it out of the void without some help from some people that the world kind of forgot. Is there any way that you could bring him home?
Welcome back, everyone. It's Charlie. Ryan Reynolds just released another alternate ending for Deadpool and Wolverine. I joked earlier this week that they kept releasing new deleted scenes almost every single day. So I wait just a couple of days and boom, we have a whole bunch more. And turns out they've been doing that. This one specifically is about Channing Tatum's Gambit character and what happens to him at the end of the movie. And if you haven't seen Ryan Reynolds talking about the Resistance group of characters after the movie came out, he's actually been campaigning in real life publicly to get more movies made for those characters. So a lot of the scenes that he's been releasing have been in service of that. So we'll break it all down, but it basically means that Ryan Reynolds is trying to get Marvel to actually make that Gambit movie that Channing Tatum never got to make, and trying to logically create the idea of why his Gambit could return in future movies. If you're brand new to the channel, be sure to subscribe to get all the videos. I am sure in the next couple weeks we'll get even more deleted scenes, so of course I'll keep doing videos as long as Ryan Reynolds keeps releasing them. There's probably enough deleted scenes here, alternate storylines in this movie, that they could make a whole other movie with them. Let's make Deadpool 4, but it's all just deleted scenes and alternate endings, alternate storylines from Deadpool and Wolverine. There are a couple MCU Marvel movies like that too, like Spider-Man No Way Home had a ton of deleted scenes. Avengers Infinity War, Avengers Endgame, I'll link the videos that I did for all those in the description below just because there's so many of them. Usually the bigger the movie, the more deleted scenes there wind up being. But just yesterday, as of me posting this video, you may have seen Ryan Reynolds posting this new scene of an alternate ending with Channing Tatum's Gambit character. The text of his post read, "Marvel Sparkle Circle." There are 10 different jokes in his post here. Early when they were writing the movie, he said that he called the sling ring portals the Marvel Sparkle Circles in the scripts because he didn't actually know what they were called, legitimately had no idea what they were supposed to be called, and just left the joke in the final cut when they were filming.
Strange. Marvel Sparkle Circle.
So as he's saying Marvel Sparkle Circle, we see the camera zoom in on Gambit, who's walking through all the dead bodies of Cassandra Nova's evil X-Men variants. This one on the right is Toad from the first X-Men movie. The one on the left in the purple is meant to be a variant of Psylocke from X-Men Age of Apocalypse. You can see the fire burning from their fight earlier in the movie in the background. It's meant to take place linearly in the events of the end of the movie. So the scene is happening after Deadpool and Wolverine have destroyed the Time Ripper, Cassandra Nova. Deadpool asks Hunter B-15 to rescue all the Resistance Group variants and send them back to the universes that they came from. Then they had their shawarma scene, making all the Avengers jokes in the pizza shawarma scene with Kevin Feige's famous pizza.
You know, the Avengers discovered shawarma.
So the idea is that during those different parts of the ending, Hunter B-15 has continued to go around the void, picking up the Resistance group and sending them back to their universes. That's how X-23 wound up earlier in the endings of the movie in the shawarma scene with Deadpool and Wolverine eating that Kevin Feige brand pizza, which is also a joke callback to the first Deadpool movie. They had that Kevin Feige joke in that first film. So it sounds like the TVA and Hunter B-15 were taking the Resistance group fighters one at a time back to their original universes instead of taking them all at once. And as the camera continues to pan over the wreckage around the dead Ant-Man base, it zooms in on Gambit's face more. You hear that hopeful sounding ending music swell up, and Gambit turns around. You see this glow coming from the right of frame, lighting up his face, and you see a portal opening up reflected in his eyes. Now, the footage that Ryan Reynolds released of this is kind of low quality, little potato quality, so it gets kind of pixelated if you zoom in too much. But because the text of his post read Marvel Circle, it made it pretty clear what was supposed to happen at the end of the movie with the Gambit character. The TVA was rescuing him and sending him back to his own universe, paying off a number of jokes from earlier in the movie, all clowning on the really meta real-life aspect of the troubles Channing Tatum had in actually getting that Gambit movie made at Fox before they got bought out by Disney, and it basically killed the movie off.
They call me the Gambit.
Do they? Are you sure you didn't just really want them to, but it never quite worked out?
If you don't remember the real-life saga of the Channing Tatum Gambit movie, there were several different directors that came and went while they were trying to make it. Eventually, Fox kind of got cold feet about making it because then the Fox-Disney buyout started happening, and that basically completely killed it off. In one of the funnier big coincidences here, like bringing things back around, like time is a flat circle, Sean Levy, who directed Deadpool and Wolverine, said that he was one of those directors who was at one time attached to direct Channing Tatum's Gambit movie. Now, he didn't say why he left the movie, but I think it was just because things drug on for too long, because that's why a number of the directors left. Like at one point, Gore Verbinski was attached to direct the movie. There were all like a lot of really great directors that they had at various different points, but the movie took so long to make that they had scheduling issues and just went on to direct other movies. Now, the reason why Channing Tatum cameoed in the movie is because Ryan Reynolds asked him to be in the movie. It wasn't because Sean Levy was like super good friends with him and almost directed the Gambit movie. It was just a relationship that they had previously. Like a lot of the actors knew each other before they came to this movie. But they said for the most part, it was Ryan Reynolds going around asking his friends in real life to just show up in the movie, and he just happened to be friends with Channing Tatum. If you don't remember, Channing Tatum also did a cameo scene in Free Guy, Ryan Reynolds' other movie, which was also directed by, wait for it, Sean Levy. That movie also featured a cameo from Chris Evans, which is sort of the connection why he wound up in this movie too, because not only the Fox Marvel Fantastic Four Johnny Storm connection, because he used to be in those movies, but because he'd also become real-life good friends with Ryan Reynolds since that movie came out. Sean Levy joked that one of Ryan Reynolds' superpowers in real life is getting other friends to cameo in his movies. In a subsequent post right below his video post of this deleted scene, Ryan Reynolds confirms that this longer version of the Gambit scene was playing as a video on the TVA monitors during the post-credit scene of the joke about Chris Evans' Johnny Storm character. So it sounds like they always wanted to imply that Gambit was going to survive at the end of the movie and be sent home to his original universe, and just like all the other deleted scenes and alternate endings, ended up cutting it way, way down for the actual theatrical cut. You have to remember the full movie is only about 2 hours long, like pretty short when we're talking about Marvel movies here. Avengers Endgame, by comparison, is a little over 3 hours long. Deadpool even made a joke about this fact earlier in the movie.
It's okay. Keep going. Audiences are accustomed to long run times.
Part of the idea with Deadpool and Wolverine is that they wanted the movie to be shorter on purpose, but if you didn't see my earlier post for the movie during 2023, during the actors and writer strikes of 2023, they had to shut down production on Deadpool and Wolverine for a long time. During that break, they changed the plot of the movie significantly. Now, Sean Levy said that they changed it for the better, like they made the movie much better. But they'd already shot most of the movie before they went on break and started changing everything. And it sounds like because of some of the changes they made to the plot, they had to totally get rid of some scenes, leading to a lot of the other deleted scene videos that I've done already the last couple of weeks, explaining how there are so many alternate storylines and deleted scenes. This Gambit scene of him surviving and going back to his original universe is also meant to pay off a really big twist earlier in the movie. When Deadpool is clowning on him, breaking the fourth wall to make jokes about Channing Tatum's Gambit movie never having gotten made in real life, one of Gambit's lines is that he doesn't know whether or not he was born on the Void or if he actually did get captured by the TVA in an alternate universe and brought here like the other characters. That's meant to connect to Deadpool's joke about him just wishing that people called him Gambit, but things never worked out because his movie never got made. So logically, if you're really thinking about it, he wouldn't have an alternate universe to go back to like the others, like he would have actually been born on the Void, like he was born, quote unquote, for this movie because he didn't exist as a character before this. Wesley Snipes' Blade, for instance, went back to the Blade universe. Electro went back to the Ben Affleck Daredevil universe at the end of the movie. X-23 came back to the main X-Men universe with Wolverine and Deadpool because she's meant to be a variant of the original X-23 from the Logan movie, which canonically is the same universe that Deadpool comes from. So the idea with this Gambit ending, like this big deleted scene, is meant to pay off the idea that within the MCU multiverse, like within the logic of the movie, they're saying that Gambit's movie did get made. He did get snatched from an alternate universe in that movie by the TVA, and now they're saving him from the Void, sending him back to that universe. As far as I could tell, in the deleted scene and in the smaller version that wound up in the actual post-credit scene, none of the monitors actually say which number designation his universe is. But the larger joke here, and the smile on Channing Tatum's face when this is happening, when he's being rescued, is meant to give people hope. And Ryan Reynolds has also started to campaign in real life after the movie came out for actual Marvel in real life, Kevin Feige, to give all these actors and their characters Logan-style send-off movies. Particularly for Wesley Snipes' Blade character, just because there's so many jokes in the movie about how he is the only Blade, he will only ever be the only Blade, because they've had so many problems in real life with making the Mahershala Ali Blade movie. But now he's also campaigning for them to actually make that Gambit movie in real life, in the MCU. Bring Channing Tatum back to be the main version of Gambit. So that's the whole reason why they have this ending scene with him, that he survived, so that he could potentially become the main Gambit in the future. My assumption, though, like if you're really thinking about this, the way Marvel's planning like the next phase of movies after Secret Wars, like Marvel Phase 7, the mutant saga of movies, at most, what I'm expecting Marvel to do is just bring Channing Tatum's Gambit back for a cameo in Secret Wars. Just because of what's happening in that movie, it makes the most sense. Like, it's the easiest to pull off and for it to make sense. With even more variants from other universes showing up, like we have Tobey Maguire, Andrew Garfield coming back for big roles, Hugh Jackman's Wolverine, Deadpool, like pretty much all the big characters that you didn't see in Deadpool and Wolverine, and some of the ones from Deadpool and Wolverine coming back for Secret Wars. So that's really like the best place for Channing Tatum's Gambit to come back again. There were all kinds of jokes too about his accent. Like there were so many people talking about it. Even Channing Tatum clowned on his accent in real life, saying that in the movie part of the joke is that it was supposed to be unintelligible. And when they were actually filming all these scenes, when they were filming the movie, Ryan Reynolds separately would tell Channing Tatum, okay, I need to understand what you're saying in this take, so make sure what you're saying makes sense. In other scenes, when they were just clowning on his accent, he would just have him speak gibberish. But as cool as all this is, and Ryan Reynolds doing him a solid, trying to get Marvel to bring him back as the main version of Gambit, I think that's a little too optimistic. Kevin Feige already revealed that Gambit is supposed to appear in the new rebooted X-Men movie as part of the new MCU cast of X-Men characters that they're all recasting. We expect the majority of those characters to be on the younger side, like in their 20s, early 30s, with a few exceptions, like some of the characters will be a little bit older, and some of the previous legacy actors will come back, like the real big actors. But you have to remember that like everything after Secret Wars is like this whole new era of Marvel, like the mutant era at Marvel. We're calling it the mutant saga, Marvel Phase 7 and beyond. Most of those movies, those characters will take center stage over like the Avengers characters, like the characters we've seen the last couple of phases and the couple of sagas. So when they recast Gambit for that upcoming new X-Men movie, I'm expecting him to be on the younger side. And Channing Tatum, by the time that X-Men movie gets made, will be in his late 40s. If he were still in his 30s when that movie got made, I would say they would definitely try to bring him back though. But it's taken Marvel so long to get that new X-Men movie going, like he's just slowly aging out of the role by the time that movie actually winds up on screen. So even if Deadpool and Wolverine makes like $5 billion, I don't think that they'll do that Gambit solo movie with Channing Tatum. But there is a pretty good chance that they do bring him back in Secret Wars, and for instance, paying off that joke about them bringing Hugh Jackman back and making him do this until he's 90. Because the movie has made more money than Captain America Civil War, they will make Ryan Reynolds and Hugh Jackman specifically do this until they are 90. This is a really good example of that phenomenon where you see legacy actors that will continue to come back after Secret Wars. Like, there'll still be a couple. It's not only Hugh Jackman's Wolverine. Everybody let me know in the comments if they bring back more legacy actors after Secret Wars, like if you see people continue to come back who played the character previously, which actors do you want to see come back to do that? On the other side of this, I think that Robert Downey Jr., who is coming back, like another good example of them bringing someone back, but he's coming back as Dr. Doom, like a completely different character, not as his Iron Man. I do not think that he's going to continue to come back as Dr. Doom after Secret Wars. I think that's going to be it for him as that character. When we get a little closer to Avengers 5 Doomsday and all that stuff, like the actual Secret Wars movie, we'll start hearing more about who's coming back after Secret Wars. We'll get a better idea for that. Everybody click here for more of those alternate endings and deleted scenes from Deadpool and Wolverine, and click here to learn about Ghost Rider in the movie, Ben Affleck's Daredevil, and a bunch of other characters that they wound up cutting out. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one.